Hi everyone, it's Grant here at the New Plan, and today I'm lucky enough to be interviewing the lovely Debbie Humble. How are you, Debbie?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm keeping very well, thank you. Debbie, first and foremost, congratulations. You've done an amazing, amazing job. Well done.
Thank you.
Uh, you're most welcome. And for those that are listening, they're going to see everything in terms of the photos, but do you mind me asking how much it is you've lost?
I've lost approximately 6.5 stone today.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
amazing. You've
absolutely
done
amazing.
a fantastic job. 6.5 stone, that's
I know.
unbelievable. And Debbie, do you mind me asking, because obviously I can see your order history here, but for anyone that's listening, do you mind me asking how long it is that you've been doing it?
I've probably been doing it solidly since August 2013, but I did start on and off probably June last year, June 2013. Then I kind of so I did it in June and lost the stone then, and then I took a month sort of off to get back into it, and I was like, oh no, it really did work. And then I booked my holiday to Ibiza and in
Hmm.
August, at the beginning of August, and just went for gold, and I've been going for gold since then.
And you've definitely
So
achieved gold.
it's all completely. It's when you put your mind to it, it's not that hard at all. And it because it came off so easily and it was so easy to follow. It was just sort of a no-brainer, no problem. Keep going.
Fantastic. Super. And to put it in context then, 6.5 stone, do you mind me asking how many dress sizes you dropped and where you've, like, what your starting dress size was and where you are now?
My starting dress size is probably a 20, more like a 22 on my bottom. Now, I am, surprisingly enough, at the weekend, just bought my first pair of size 12 trousers. I
Wow.
could not believe it. I would never have dreamed of fitting into a size 12 in my life, and now I am. It's amazing.
You've done such an amazing job. We are so proud of you, and I can only imagine how you feel at this point, Debbie. And we know that it's a 6.5 stone, weight loss. You've dropped pretty much it's 10 dress sizes. Then,
hmm
do you mind me asking what your starting weight was and where you are now?
My starting weight was at the very beginning probably 15 stone 7 pounds. And when I was on scales this morning, I was
Right.
about 9,899.
Nice.
So it's a really a big loss. Yeah.
Yes, that is, as I say, I can't stress enough how much of an amazing, amazing job you've done. It's fantastic. And Debbie, I suppose the crunch question then, what was it that finally pushed you over the edge to start a TFR VLCD diet with the new U plan?
Do you know, that's probably the hardest question. I always looked at losing weight and I've tried all the different methods and whatnot, but nothing really stuck. The New You
Hmm.
plan was recommended to me by my mum, and her packs were sitting there one day, and I kind of just got up and looked in the mirror and thought, screw this. So I'm sick of being the how to put it, the fat friend, um, and so just started from there and kept going. I started off sort of my target weight was probably about 13.5
Hmm.
when I very first started, because I suppose I wanted to have horses and I wanted to be able to get back on my pony. And I know
Right.
the maximum weight she can carry was 13.5. So I thought we'll start there. And then it just kind of escalated from there. Once I hit that goal, I just thought, oh, well, maybe if I get down a bit further, and now it's to be the same dress size as my little sister so we can share clothes. And I'm there.
Wow. Those are some really well-defined goals, and I just think that that would have served you so well because there was a specific goal and a specific reason, and they're
hmm
fantastic. And well, I say that I think it would have served you well. It has. You've done an amazing, amazing job. And do you mind me asking, was there any, maybe you said it was about, the social circles you were moving in,
Hmm.
so you weren't comfortable socially then, previously?
No, I think a lot of people thought that I was, because I was, I didn't exert that I was uncomfortable with my weight or anything like that.
Mm,
Everybody that I speak to would never have thought in a million years I was the weight or the dress size that I was. Um, but on the inside, when people don't notice it apart from your family,
mm,
it did sort of get you down a wee bit. And just being able to do sort of like basic things, even, when you went on holiday and fastened the seatbelt, mine was always like under my tires. and, and it was like the wee embarrassing social statuses you get amongst that, thinking, oh, my friends can go out and sort of like dress in these nice clothes, and just couldn't dream of doing anything like that. Um,
mm,
and I think that's sort of like a big motivation. And although nobody really noticed it, I did.
mm. I know exactly what you mean, and it's really sad when I hear that because you are a very charismatic and bubbly person, and
Mhm.
I think that, when you're out and about, that's something that should just always shine through. There shouldn't be anything tarnishing that in the background. And
Completely.
Debbie, so you've achieved this weight loss. Has it had the desired effects? I mean, are you very, very much active then with riding your ponies again? And are you dressing how you want to dress? And
Yeah. It is. It's really brought me out in leaps and bounds. I suppose when I very first started the diet, I wasn't noticing that much of a difference because it didn't come off my sort of I didn't come down dress sizes as quickly as what I expected to come down.
mm,
But everybody else was noticing it in my face, in my arms, in my legs. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of went do 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 do, and I went from a sort of like 18 to a 14, within the space of a couple of weeks. And I did think, oh, what's going on, and it, it it has had the desired effect in that reference, is that I can now go out and go shopping with my friends in all the shops that I shop in. I can
mm,
go out and feel absolutely amazing in what I'm wearing. I can
mm.
get back on my horse. I've even joined the gym, which I never in my life thought I would ever do because I never wanted to be the fat person on the treadmill. Um,
Mm.
and I got back on my horse, and this year we're planning on going out and competing for the first time in probably about 3 or 4 years. So it's really taken me where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Ex- Absolutely. You've really, really gone places. That's fantastic to hear. I'm loving it. And then I suppose the thing for me is, you've mentioned there that there was a couple of things that weren't as you'd expected in terms of dropping the dress sizes and things of
Mhm.
that nature. Do you mind me asking, do you recall what it was you lost in your first week?
Oh, what would I have lost in my first week? I think I lost 8 pounds within my first week. Um, and that was a right sort of kick up the jacksie to keep it going to the next week and the next week. Because my mum and reading online and everything, I expected quite a big loss in the first week, and
Mm,
I had one. And I think it's the losses that you do have when you first start that really do keep you going.
mm,
Admittedly, when I was sort of halfway through, the weight loss slowed down a wee bit, but I'd become sort of less focused, and I wasn't really drinking as much water. I found that's really key to keeping the diet going as well,
mm,
is keeping your water intake going.
mm.
Um, but I sort of maintain a steady weight loss now, and it's great. It's amazing.
Fa- That's fantastic. And in that perspective then, because you have, you came through that first week and you kept going, and I know that you said at the start that you had a couple of false starts, and that was why you actually, in your mind, it was August when you started, even though
Mhm.
you had started before then. So what
Mhm.
would your advice be to anyone that's maybe in their first or second week, possibly finding it a little bit tough? They don't know quite what way to work it yet. How would you keep that person, steer them to stay on track?
Um, what I kept doing was, well, my motto is kind of like eating's cheating and nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Mm.
Which are probably not that appropriate, but they're true. They've kept me going. I think my sort of uh, key advices would be drink as much water as you can, tell as many people as you can that you're doing it, because me, my group of friends and my family all had this sort of running joke about me doing this diet and, oh, eating cheating, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And,
Right.
making like light of the situation of it really kept me going. I also got a massive calendar out, and every day, I'm one of those guilty parties that stands on the scales every time that I'm in the bathroom, because I know I'm going to get that liberating feeling.
Mm.
Every sort of second day or whatnot, I would note down on the calendar my weight that day. And
Mm.
well, this month's perfect. Did it what started back on January, after the wee Christmas break, because everyone likes pigs in blankets. Um, started back in January after the Christmas break, and I've been noting it down on the calendar, and that's £11 that I've lost in this month. You know, and it's it's that sort of like, even though I can't see it in my face or I'm not feeling it in my dress size, it's
Mm.
there in black and white. You have lost £11 in this past 3 to 4 weeks. End of story. And I think being able to see it that way was a big thing for me.
Absolutely, and I think
Yeah.
that bumps up your accountability, is what Julianne always says. Now, by keeping that diary for yourself,
Oh,
it is
yeah.
a level of accountability that you're keeping indeed just to yourself.
Mhm.
Um, well, that's fantastic, and that's great support for anyone that will be starting out on the plan. Some really good ideas there. And on that note, how are you, how did you find the support? I personally didn't have too much involvement with you in customer services, but I know from Ellie that you've been fairly prominent in Secret Slimmers and you've done really well. So how have you found the support with the New Year plan?
It's absolutely amazing. It's great to see. That is something that, you go on, and I'm always on my Facebook, so I'm always seeing it, and you're always seeing the other ladies and gentlemen really going for it and seeing
Mm,
their weight losses, and that in itself is a motivation. Um,
mm,
the group support, even though, I'm not actively participating in the site all the time, it's really there for everybody else. And, when you see it, that's like, oh, they're doing it, I'm doing it too. It's kind of sort of like we're all in this together type thing.
yeah.
It's great looking for advice as well. If you're thinking, oh no, today's like, I'm really struggling today. How is it going to help out today? Just looking on the page and looking at different things, or just asking anyone. And everybody comes back and has some advice to give you. And it's great, when you can post on the page, oh my God, I went shopping today and I got this, and it's great. And everybody's, like going wild as well. It's absolutely insane. And as well, some sort of like how quickly the packs and that get dispatched, because I get some brow sweating moments when I'm like, oh no, I've got no food. I get some brow sweating moments, and it's absolutely amazing how quickly everything comes out to you. And the odd occasion, you'll get a wee note in it to say, oh, congratulations, you're doing so well, keep going. And it's great. It's like a secret community that nobody knows about, that's really keeping you going. It's weird. It's amazing.
Super. I'm so glad to hear that, Debbie. And it's just, yeah, I'm gonna find it hard to wipe the grin off my face listening to that. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I'd recommend it to absolutely anyone. You know, it doesn't take that much discipline. If I can do it, anyone can.
Done an amazing job, and it does. We try and build people up, and it's people like you that will succeed, and that's what we want to achieve because we've got the tools in terms of the diet products. There's a second
Mhm.
part to that, and that's the part we were just talking about there, where, like you said, we're doing this together, and you've got that support, and I think it's just amazing. And when you say I'm just like everyone else, I believe it, and other people will believe it, and it'll just give them that motivation. It's super,
Completely.
absolutely. And Debbie, then in terms of the diet itself, do you mind me asking what your daily routine would have consisted of, sorry, when you were doing total food replacement?
When I very first started the total food replacement, I was starting on, I would have a shake for
Mm,
breakfast and whatnot, and then
right,
I'd move on and have a bar for my lunch, and then I'd have a hot meal at dinner time.
right.
And
So that,
then just drinking as much water as possible is kind of how I first started. My worst parts for eating were always round about when I come home from my work. So
mm,
I tried to keep as much of my food for when I knew I was going to be hungry, type thing. And as I kept going through the plan, I found I went through spits and spats of like, for instance, I really used to love the chili, and now I can't stand it. Because I've eaten too much of it. So I just
yeah,
replaced that and moved it around a bit. So now when I'm doing it, I don't always have porridge for my breakfast. I'll sometimes have it for my dinner, you know, and it keeps it changing and keeps it new
mm,
and keeps it fresh as well. So I suppose I would recommend that to anybody who's starting out as well. Don't just think, porridge is for breakfast, shake is for lunch. Mix it about a bit and try and have different things at different times. I think that really benefited me, and that's something that I learned, when I was sort of like on month 2 coming into it. And, when you start to find these things quite monotonous, swap it about, and it really made a difference.
absolutely. That's
Hmm.
super. Well, just for anyone that's listening, Debbie, you would have started at the point where it was 3 products a day,
Yeah,
and it is now 4. So you would follow exactly what you said there, but you just need to bring in
I'd slip
that
in an
fourth product.
extra.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I slip in.
super.
So now, like, I'll have like an extra wafer or an extra soup or something like that, just to keep me tiding over.
Fantastic. All right. And Debbie, we touched on this a little bit earlier. It was your exercise.
Hmm.
Uh, you'd said that you had joined a gym and it was something that you were now beginning to enjoy. Is that something that's followed through till now, or?
I only joined last week.
Ah, right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I misunderstood you.
No,
And
no.
how
I
are you finding it?
I only joined last week. Um, I'll be honest, I did absolutely nothing for the first probably month or so that I was on it.
Mm,
And because I wasn't confident to go out into like sweat in front of people, I played on the Wii, did the Wii Fit
yeah,
thing, the
yeah.
step-in one and whatnot. And that was great because it's in the comfort of your own home just while I was sitting watching the TV. Not sitting, obviously, being
No.
active watching the TV. But I'll admit my exercise was really limited. I didn't do that much. But as I found I was losing weight and dropping these dress sizes, I then started going out sort of like hill walking on a Sunday with the dogs and, more out and about, walking around the field with the horses and things because I could do it, because I could walk that bit further. And even
Mm,
simple things like being able to run up the stairs and not get out of breath, I can do that now.
super.
But yeah, I was probably one of the bad people that didn't really exercise that much. But it
Well,
shows though that the diet works by itself.
exactly. Well, that was the whole point behind this. A lot of the time, it's a case of you kind of got to bring yourself back to a healthier weight before you can start really pounding at it. I mean, I know that Melissa, for instance, has written an article in one of our blogs about exercise this week, and basically just
Hmm.
starting at your own pace and finding the thing that you like. So that's exactly what you've done here.
Completely,
Super.
completely, yeah.
And then just to take it back a step again, because I was going to try and break it up a little bit, but going back to routine, do you mind me asking how you found refeeding? Was it a case of did you follow the momentum maintainers and did you use our refeed guide? Was it something that was daunting? Um,
Refeed's really daunting to me because, I am really conscious of being as fat as I was.
mm,
It's something that I'm now conscious about what I put in my mouth,
right.
which is, to be honest, an unexpected outcome from the diet. Um, I didn't think I'd learn what was good for me and what was not. Now I know when I'm going out to a restaurant that I can pick sort of more a protein-rich food and continue my water uptake and everything. And I've
Mm,
cut out a lot of sort of like, I find I don't have a taste anymore to eat like 7 bags of crisps at once. They just don't
mm,
appeal to me at all. Um, so I do find that it's quite nice to have that little luxury of like, if I'm really struggling, I have, put on a couple of slices of bacon, had poached or something. But it's something that's really easy, and I didn't think it would be as easy to pick the right foods.
absolutely. But it does, as you say, when you've achieved as much as you have, you're far less likely to give up on something like that because you've earned this. It's something that you've done, and that means it's something that you're never going to want to let go of. So that's great to
Completely.
hear.
Completely. And I think it is like once you got it and you really see it happening and people around you see it happening as well, they become a lot more sort of supportive of it, and
Mm,
a lot more of like, they don't force things in front of your face or anything like that, which is absolutely great. And I think that's another key thing is that I told everyone what I was doing and that I was
right.
doing it. And, they respected that and it was great that way. We thought of other activities to be doing because my social circles are quite a big one for going out and eating all the time.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Whereas instead of doing that as a friendship group, we'd go out and do mini golf or go for a walk along the beach, something completely different, which didn't make the social effects of the diet that bad.
I'm really glad to hear. It's lovely to hear that your friends are that amazing and they are sticking by you in terms of that. And you probably find in some way they'll be thankful to you because it's going to rub off on their lifestyle choices.
Oh,
I'm
completely,
sure they'll find
hopefully.
that. Absolutely. And what was your favorite product, Debbie, on the plan?
um, my favourite product on the plan is probably the oatmeal, the porridge.
Right.
um, and I think it's because I can have it at any time of day. It's quite sweet, but it's not too sickly, and I can make it to whatever consistency I want. So,
Yeah.
I can make it last a little bit longer, or it can be a really quick meal. Because everything's so quick and simple, and it's not too evasive on your daily living, and like you
Mm.
don't need to go and cook it and plan it and count it and
Mhm.
do everything. It's just like stick it in, it's ready. It's absolutely brilliant, and that's my favourite one.
Super. That was a very precise, exacting answer. Thank you so much, Debbie. And the last part then is for anyone that's because the thought of total food replacement,
Mhm.
even when I started working for the company, it was a slightly daunting idea, and I
Mhm.
was lucky enough to have the support of Julianne and everyone else when I tried it. What what would you say to anyone who's listening to this and actually hasn't even started the diet yet because it's a little bit it's a little bit of the unknown? What would you say to them?
Go for it. Take the bull by the horns. It's not
Mm,
that hard. Oh, Lord knows I have blipped and eaten countless amount of times, but it's
mm,
such an easy thing to get back on the horse and do. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to count anything. You don't need to worry about, what you're putting in your mouth and how badly it's going to affect it. It's all there. It's all completely laid out for you. It's not had any negative effects on me, only positive. It's brought me out as a more confident, better, slimmer person. It's honestly, it's nothing to be afraid of. I would just say make sure you tell as many people as you can that you're doing it, and drink as much water as you can. And if you fall off the horse, get back on. I mean, my initial thoughts on it were, oh, I'll try it. What have I got to lose? Just a bit of weight. And lo and behold, it worked, and I clicked on it. And now I'm keeping going.
Absolutely. And you've done a fantastic job, Debbie.
Thank you.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much for doing the interview with me. That concludes all the questions that I had for you. And I just want to say one final time, thank you and well done.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys.
Oh, bless. Thank you. Well, Debbie, have a wonderful day. And again, thank you for doing the interview. And we'll chat to you soon.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Debbie. Bye.
Bye.